All right, good afternoon. Welcome to the afternoon experiment. My name is Emanuel Livingston. I'm with you for a little while today. Of course, y'all know we have to see how it goes. See exactly how long I'm going to be here. But I'm here, and I'm happy about that. Y'all know I always love it, being around y'all. All right, let's get to it. I just need to say hello to a few people. Let's get them in here. Lewis Talbert, good afternoon. Sierra Brooks, good afternoon. Sierra says, I just told myself that you weren't coming on. See, that's what you get for speaking for me. No, I'm just... good afternoon. Wonder Woman, Jacqueline Carter, good afternoon. She's representing Evanston. Steban Speed, good afternoon. Representing Westwood. What is that, 4? 1, 2, 3, 4. And Pat Rogers wrapping up the top 5. Pat Rogers representing East Westwood. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Black Lion. What's good? What's good? Appreciate you. Sierra, by the way, says she's representing Boston. And she's going to listen while on a bike ride. Why you always try to show somebody up? I'm going to be riding my bike, getting fit, and listening to the show. Why your fat ass sit there in a chair and do the show? You got cookies upstairs waiting for you. I didn't ask you to judge me like that. I'm just saying. It wasn't necessary. It was not necessary. I hope everybody's doing good. Only a few people here, and I blame me for that because, I'm inconsistent now. But look, I got 3 weeks and 1 day left. 3 weeks and 1 day. So we are almost there. And, hey, I appreciate y'all patience with my inconsistency, but we almost at the first finish line. The first finish line is getting through this class, boot camp. Then there's another one, and I'm not I'm beginning to apply for jobs now. And so, yeah, you gotta get to the point where getting a good paying job is another goal. But somewhere in there, I also have to take the certification exam, or exams, plural. So there's a few steps to go, but I'm on the way, and I'm having fun. I'm learning stuff. You can't beat that. All right, let's get back to hellos. Brenda Burt. She says, hey, all, have a great evening. Thank you, Brenda. Good afternoon. She's representing Westwood, by the way. Jeffrey Williams, representing Pleasant Run Farms. All right, good afternoon. Sierra told me you can definitely set up a GoPro and broadcast from a bike. I encourage it. See, that's just her trying to be funny. That's trying to be funny. Yeah, I'll be out of breath when I'm driving, you know what I'm saying? Too much wheel turning, I'm gonna be on a bike pedaling. It's the afternoon. Yeah, would just let her see me fall out from riding a bike. I see what you're doing. Pamela Kinney, representing North Avondale, good afternoon. Bonita Gaines, good afternoon. She's representing Roselawn. Erica Hummins, good afternoon, representing Reading. Got Classy Tria Gaines in the house. She says, hey, King and friends. She's representing Avondale. Darnell Hunter, good afternoon. Good afternoon. Appreciate you being here. Nick Brown in the house, representing beautiful Blue Ash, he says. Daryl Carpenter in the house. He says, I'm here. I see you. Thanks for checking out the show. Applied to be IT on the bus. I actually did think about that. I thought, boy, what would, not on the bus, but for Radio 1, which would end up being probably Cincinnati. I'm not relocating for Radio 1. And I thought that would be hilarious That would be hilarious. But I don't know. If they paying, money, hey, do it. I can do it. Let me see. Lincoln's camera feed is orange. I'm trying to get mine orange. Hold on. Let me see if I can get it orange. Like I want it orange, I'm just trying to be like, with the big boys. Let's see. No, that's more pink. I don't know if I keep going. No. No. Tint, maybe? No. Maybe more red. A little more red. Take out some blue, maybe. Oh, I'm getting there. It's not quite orange enough. But, I mean, for a dude that ain't, really got no... Hey, here we go. This is as close as I can get it, just on the fly. Spencer Oliver Jr., representing North College Hill. Good afternoon. Got Regina Denson Griffin, representing Madisonville. Good afternoon. Two Broke Productions. All right. Well, what's good with you? Kathy Jo Wilson, representing Anderson. All right. We got Fame, a.k.a. Edsel. Good afternoon, Edsel. Yeah. I feel better now. This feels good. I can feel the orange. I can feel it. All right. Let's see. GC in the house. Representing Westwood. Good afternoon. All right. I guess I should talk about something. So they done suspended Jimmy Kimmel's show. What? Because he said something about Charlie Kirk. What did he say? I just saw the story. Look, and again, a lot of y'all know, I'm in class. I leave class and I come straight here when I have the opportunity, get on the air. I saw the headline, but I don't know what he said. So what did he actually say? And my guess is he didn't say anything bad. First, hold on, for real, why are we still talking about Charlie Kirk? I mean, I get a lot of people knew him, knew of him and all that kind of stuff and in political circles, but Lewis says he just played a clip of what Trump said. Oh. Well, what did Trump say? What are they mad about? I'm going to have to go find the story. Let me see. According to a source with knowledge of the events, Kimmel staff members, they not talking about why. They say they shell-shocked. They can't believe this is real life. They calling for prayers. Jimmy Kimmel Live has not been canceled, but there's no timeline as to when the show may return. And then they talking about freedom of speech. But they're not saying what did he say. Okay. But either way, Tria said they said he can come back if he donates to Kirk's family. Darnell said he just cracked a joke about Trump and periods of grieving. Okay. Look, I told y'all, I know I'm not the only one, but we told y'all what was going to happen when this. Oh, hold on. Let me bring up the phones. Somebody might be trying to call me and tell me what he said. Let me bring up the phones. You can give me a call, 513-717-KING. It's 513-717-5464. Oh, I don't know that I'm all that comfortable in this shirt. What? I missed a call from Ron D. Okay, Ron D called me, and I missed his call. And this was today. This was like 2 minutes ago. Ron D.
I was just trying to call and see how come your fat ass was sitting in that chair with cookies upstairs and Sierra was getting ready for a bike ride.
She know what she doing, man. She know what she doing, trying to make somebody look bad. Oh, Ron, how you doing, man? How you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm grateful. How you?
I'm doing all right. I've been trying to get you to call the show since I heard about your incident.
Man, I been trying to get at you, but I every time you come on, I got some shit going on. But I wasn't trying to avoid you, you know. But listen, what Brett told you was a half truth, and I'm not. I'm just being nice. And uh, what it was I was just and I ain't gonna go through the whole rigmarole, but I was just trying to make sure some young folk didn't jump on a homeless guy on the square, and I was sitting down texting my son and either trying to get him to get downtown and give me a ride home or call me a Uber. And chick was chirping at me and shit, and you know, what I did, I called her a bitch, and I was saying she was acting like a bitch. And then I sat down and was doing my thing, and then she just blindsided me, and man, I'm gonna show you the shoes I had on. That was correct. The shoes that you showed,
Okay.
but they was high top, and it didn't have no laces on it. So I mean, I just when I stood up, I I was gonna choke her ass, but when I stood up, I went to get her off me and push her off of me, and I fell. Of course, I don't have no good balance, and I fell on top of her, and I don't know if her friends was already on me and kicked me in the head, or if she just got up dead ass quick. Because like I said, I got that my back issues, and I have nerve damage in my lower extremity. So I was down. So they kicked me in my head and all that other shit, bro. Fractured my ribs and all that shit. I went to the hospital, and that was it. But Brett was telling you a half truth,
Well,
and
may I ask some clarification questions just so that I understand?
uh, you can ask clarifications as long as you don't ask me clarifications. Is what ask the clarification questions, and I'll answer them if I can.
Okay. So this happened one of the nights of the festival, right?
Yeah, Saturday night.
And you said this was on the square?
Yeah. And the motherfucker, man, look, look, wait a minute. I got to tell you this. Now, the dude, well, now I know it was the security guard. And he was between me and the other chick. And I was, like I said, I was sitting down, and once they kicked me and all this other shit, because he let her go, and once they kicked me and all that other shit, this motherfucker gonna say, get up and go, or I'm gonna let her get you again, motherfucker. Boy, I cussed that motherfucker. Boy, I ain't gonna say everything I said to him because I want to respect the people. But boy, I cussed his ass out. And then I went down there to get the video. Was it yesterday? Yeah, went down there to get it yesterday, and down to Fifth Third, and the motherfucker he was the one. He was the guard that was up there yesterday when I went to go get it, and I didn't recognize him right off rip, but then I recognized him. He done went and gathered the police and everybody else while dude went to go try to get the video, and motherfucker can't come back down. Oh no, I can't give you the video. And now I took a video of them. Man, you should have seen the motherfuckers converge on me. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing? But anyway, he said I couldn't get the video unless I
Had a
got
subpoena?
an attorney,
Yeah.
or the police come get it. But the police, they closed the case out 2 days early, or 2 days after I filed it. They closed it 2 days after I filed it, and the motherfucker won't call me back.
Well, again, I want to understand a few more of the details. You said it was was it? Because in one version, I thought you said it was a teenage white girl. You thought the girl was a teenager?
No. Brad told you that shit. They was young, so I mean, I don't know how old the girl was. I mean, she could have been 20 if she could have been 16. I mean, I don't know. I mean, they was young.
Well, what were they?
The dude.
In your mind, what were they gonna do to the homeless guy?
Young. The dude wasn't young. I know he wasn't young. I know he was about 20.
In your mind, what were they gonna do to the homeless guy?
Oh no, man! They was gonna stomp him out. They was gonna do exactly what they did to him. Because once I sat down, because I sat down and I just shoo him off. And the first thing she said, "Why do you care? Why do you care?" I'm like, okay, that was a good decision, and I just didn't want. I just didn't. I'm just decent. Shit, I'm just decent. Shit, y'all know me by now. I cuss a motherfucker out in a minute, but y'all know I'm decent. Shit. Y'all know I'm just.
And the guys that she was with were black dudes.
Yeah.
And are you certain that they jumped you, or like you said, maybe you got kicked in the head and you're not 100% sure?
I just told you, either she got up real, and they had to jump me because I fell too many feet. If she had to have hands and feet. If she didn't, she had to get up real quick and have and she had to Bruce Lee my ass. But again, I can't. I won't know nothing because I can't get the videotape.
Have you?
You can laugh, nigga. You
But
you can laugh. She had to be Bruce Lee.
well, now, well, have you gotten an attorney?
You know, I done called three. Like they playing me like they did with my back situation. Oh, you know, they can't represent me, or oh no, we don't do that. All that other little type shit.
Huh? There's got to be. No,
No, I know it is,
well, no,
but
no,
they,
no. I'm saying there's.
I've been screaming that shit for the last 6 years. They blackballed me just like they blackballed Tracy Hunter. We can't get no justice, or we can't get no representation in Cincinnati. They won't let us get it.
But what?
They won't let me get it because they won't let because I Tracy Hunter, they can nitpick at her and say that her brother did all that little type of shit. They can nitpick at her. They can't nitpick at me. They can't nitpick at me. They just gotta hope that don't nobody find out what the fuck they done did. And certain people listen. So I'm talking to them too.
But here's what I'm
While I'm talking
thinking.
to you.
What I'm thinking, Ron, is there are people who help people
Mhm.
who need legal assistance. You don't necessarily have to have the police to, file charges against somebody. And you can file a case against somebody. I don't know all the appropriate procedures to do it,
Well,
but
I filed cases pro bono. I've done it. But you can only be successful as they'll let you be. I mean, my cases, but with my case, but my first case, they threw it out, and they didn't even mail me appeal rights, and I didn't know the process. I didn't even know I had to get appeal rights uh, within a certain period of time. That's why I had failed to file my second lawsuit, and then I met the appeal rights timeline, and I had to argue before appellate court. I'm well versed with the system, but I can't get no help from here. I mean,
well, but that's what
these
I'm kind
motherfuckers
of saying.
they done been hard on me.
Right, I'm kind of saying you may be, have some knowledge in the system, but I'm telling you, you could get a subpoena to get that footage. I don't know how to do it. Mary just asked, do we still have community legal services? Like, does anybody know? And I'm asking the audience, does anybody know of maybe people I remember they used to do like workshops and stuff like that and provide legal assistance to people in the community. So there might be somebody that you could call and talk to, and they'll kind of walk you through how you can get that recording. And
The only
here's
thing
why
I
I
can
think it's
do
important for you to get the recording. You
oh
may
yeah.
you may never get a actual case. No charges may ever be filed, but I think it's important for the city and the people to see what happened to you, to be able to look at it with their own eyes, like they watched Holly get socked. I think if it happened, and I thought I heard you saying it either happened on the same day, but even if it happened the following day or the day before, in that
it happened like
same
18 hours
week.
later.
I'm sorry.
Well, no, that was the other. Well, it don't make no difference. It was happening that weekend. Shit.
Right. And so, they wanted to make this, oh, Cincinnati is so unsafe. And, they was doing that little racial thing.
That's what I said.
But to be able to say, hey, look, here's a video that happened that same weekend of a black man getting beat down. Why didn't y'all pay attention to this? Or, why maybe it can spark another discussion, because to me, the whole issue with the Holly thing, all of that kind of stuff, is more about unequal justice.
Now, but see, and what I can do is file a lawsuit myself and
Yeah,
and
true.
and, and request it. What's what I filed? Article 42 or 52? What I think was it Article 52. Um. Anyway, if I file a lawsuit myself and file and get a subpoena, I could go ahead and subpoena the videotape. But I don't want to do that until I get the the um, the lawsuit from the white Russian dude that's filing it, because I want to use that as precedence for me filing a lawsuit, because I know they're going make me file it myself. Ain't no, I mean, if ain't no ambulance chasers come and try to get at me from then till now, they ain't gonna do that shit. So I know I gotta file that shit myself. So I mean, I can get it. I can get it. It's just a point of when I'll get it, and then, like I said, the fact that the investigator won't call me back. And if you go to Ron Dula page, not my other pages, but my Ron Dula page, I got the officer. I screenshotted his motherfucking conversation. Screenshot his conversation and took and put my the case where I filed a charge, and they showed the restrictions, and they said the restrictions was media restrictions.
Well, Ron, let me ask you, what do you need from the community?
Uh, I mean, you know how I am, man. I mean, I done been there and done that. I done been there and done that. I mean, I I said something on Lincoln show and Wire show. That's why Big Mouth Brett was spewing that shit on Lincoln show. But I said that shit on Lincoln show and on Wire show. Ain't nobody fucking reached out to me. And they got every sort of the avenues to reach out to me. Ain't nobody reached out to me.
But
Ain't
I'm
nobody
asking you
reached out
now,
to
what
me.
do you
And,
need
and,
from
and they
what?
I'm sorry.
No, I'm asking, what do you need from the community?
I trust God to provide everything that I need.
Okay.
It, if 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 Brett wouldn't have said something, it wouldn't have got out, because I was going to keep it quiet. And what's a trippy is I was going to keep that shit quiet for a bunch of reasons. And I was going to keep that shit quiet because, again, because I try to be decent. I don't try to hurt people. I don't try to hurt people. But God knew that I was going to get in my own way. That's why I called him Haman. That's why I called him Haman. He didn't, but he's supposed to be a deacon. But I wouldn't trust a deacon that don't read his word. Anyway, I mean, I was telling my sister, she called earlier today, and she had a couple back surgeries, and she was asking me if I had um, a scooter that somebody had given me when I was in business, and I told her, get up, get up, and you start walking. And I told her a story. And in 2018, I had to go have a nerve test on my lower extremities because I was messed up so bad. When they got done with the nerve test, the doctor was looking around and he said, "Where's your wheelchair?" And he said, I said, I didn't come up here with a wheelchair. He said, "Well, where's your walker?" He said, I didn't come up here with a walker. He said, "Well, how'd you get up here?" I said, "I walked." And I was sort of perplexed with him asking me how I got up here, how I got up there. But the further I got along, I understood that, wait a minute, he's trying to tell me I shouldn't be walking. He's trying to tell me I shouldn't be walking. I asked the community for a lot of different things, a lot of different times. And again, I've discussed this with you on your show. They kissed my ass because of how they played me. Because, like I said, that doctor was perplexed as to how I got in there and how I walked out. And people will see me right now. They see me. I had what was supposed to be a dysfusion. I have 6 unfused screws in my back that are rattled around in me like a valve. I've had multiple strokes because I had COVID-19, and I've had surgery on both my shoulders, and all this, and two heart attacks, and a stent put in, and this was all within the last 5 years or 7 years for my back. So, and you can look at me and see who and what I am. And I talk with a struggle because I have aphasia, but even that, I couldn't even draw a clock when I had my stroke. I couldn't spell my name, and what most people don't know, I read dyslexic now. I can't, if I read a sentence or if I try to put a sentence together, that's why I talk the text. It fuses together, so to speak. So with all of that, I trust God. I trust God. I trust God.
Okay.
I trust God. And like I said, somebody should try to do a lot of things, but from the community. But what have they done? And I shouldn't have to reach out to them when they had so much fucking energy. They was rah. And what's the trip is they ain't said nothing this week or last week. They ain't said nothing since I told. Well, no, they ain't said nothing since Nate addressed the issue in the chat. And thanks, Nate. And I'm not calling you Heyman and no shade, because I knew it was genuine. Thank you. But they ain't spoke about it since. And everybody asked Lincoln how the NAN meeting went. Ain't heard nothing about that either. But I digress. Like I said, Emmanuel, I just was uh, wanted to check on you and let you know I wasn't avoiding you. And most of the time, I catch a show if I don't do nothing but watch the reruns.
All right.
All
I
right.
was actually just teasing when I said you might have been boycotting the show or something like that. But yeah, no, I did want to kind of get a hold of the story and see if you needed anything, you know, that maybe I could
No,
help with or that we could help
it,
with.
it, it, if somebody want to help, they can help. If somebody is got room to help, they can help. I mean, but I mean, I've had my feel with asking for help from anybody in this city, especially black folks.
All right. I'm sorry to hear that, but
All right, one.
all right. All right. That was Ron. He said he had his feel of asking for help. And I guess I get it. If you needed help and you asked for help and you didn't get help, I could see somebody saying, forget help. I don't want no more help. But I asked him, I did ask him that, Mary, what does he need? How can we help? And he didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. So I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, I don't like stuff happen to black people all the time. Black people get killed. Black people get shot. Harmed, beaten, robbed. All that, everything that happened to everybody else, abducted, happens to black people. And people, when it happens to black people, nobody cares. Nobody cares. And I don't know, I think about stuff like a lot of times people don't think about that kind of stuff. Cuz a lot of us seem like we don't care either. I don't think it's that we don't care. We just so used to it not mattering. And we feel like it don't matter. They don't care. It don't matter. Nobody cares. Right. Hung from trees. I saw that story. And again, it's a story. I saw the headline. The story that the young man apparently, what they told, I hate telling stories wrong. Family of Trey Reed, 21-year-old found hanging from a tree at Delta State University, calls for an independent investigation into his death. This is just from Yahoo News. Dylan Stableford gets the byline. The death of a black student found hanging from a tree on a Mississippi college campus this week has left a family demanding answers and civil rights leaders calling for a transparent investigation. According to officials at Delta State University, the body of Demetravian, they know him as Trey, Reed, 21, was discovered around 7 a.m. on Monday by a faculty member near the pickleball courts on its Cleveland, Mississippi campus. Classes were canceled on Monday. In a statement issued Monday, Delta State University Police Chief Michael Pillar said there was no evidence of foul play and no ongoing threat to campus safety. So they think he committed suicide by hanging himself from a tree. That really, if there's no evidence of foul play, that's what you're saying. You're saying he committed suicide, which I don't know, Trey. That it's possible. Maybe they have some evidence to suggest that that's what happened. But if that's the case, then just say that. Say it was a suicide. He killed himself, he hung himself, and this is when and where and how he chose to do it. But if he didn't hang himself, how is there no evidence of foul play? Being found hung from a tree is evidence of foul play if it wasn't suicide. If there's never been, it's like the definition, it's not really the definition, but it's like the definition of evidence of foul play. Pillar says that multiple state and local law enforcement agencies, including the Mississippi Bureau of Investigation, were assisting the school in its investigation. The coroner says there's no evidence of an assault. They say Reed did not suffer any lacerations, contusions, compound fractures, broken bones, or injuries consistent with an assault. They say there's no evidence to suggest the individual was physically attacked before his death. Furthermore, they'll be provided when the results of the autopsy is finalized. They've asked the community to remain patient with the coroner's office and other investigative agencies as they work to gather all of the pertinent facts surrounding the investigation. Maybe somebody help me understand. Somebody really help me understand. Jacqueline says, but did she rule it a suicide, though? When you say there's no evidence of foul play, look, if they ever find me hanging, I'm not the suicidal type. If they ever find me hanging, that's some evidence of foul play. Because if I didn't do it, I mean, something foul happened. I don't understand the statement that there's no evidence of foul play. And it make me think, it's Mississippi. It's Mississippi. Daryl said he could have been drugged and then hung to make it look like a suicide. That's very possible, but to say there's no foul play, no evidence of foul play. Being hanged is evidence of. Maybe in Mississippi, they don't consider hanging people foul play. They like, that's fair play. That's what we do. That's not foul play. That is fair play. I'm sorry. I don't understand it. Let me see. Who is this? Who is Ennis? At a press conference. Who is Ennis? Hold on. The school's president, Dan Ennis. He said, while the preliminary report of the coroner's office indicates no evidence of foul play, we recognize that this is not only about facts, it's about emotions, and it's about feelings. But he reiterated that there are no active threats to the campus. Then come out and say, we believe. Maybe they done told the family and they just don't want to say that out loud. Maybe they talked to the family and said, it looked like he committed suicide. We have evidence of him committing suicide. But the family, it seems to me, the family's like, nah, we need some answers. At a news conference, Vanessa J. Jones, an attorney for Reed's family, said that her firm is initiating an independent investigation into his death. We will seek answers independently from Delta State University and from the coroner's office, and if need be, independent from the state coroner's office, because we need answers. Where were the cameras? There should have been cameras at the university that could easily enlighten us to what happened. That's a reasonable point. Cameras is everywhere. And I know there's still people out there who believe racism don't exist anymore. So, couldn't have been that. But Brent.
Hey, what's going on, Emanuel?
Hey, nothing much, man. What's going on with you?
Oh, man, nothing much. Just had a late meeting and caught the tail end of Ron's call when he was hanging up, so I don't even know what the world's going on. So is he giving up on his pursuit of justice?
I don't think he's given up on his pursuit of justice. I think it kind of sounded to me like he's kind of regrouping, paying attention to what's going on, and making decisions as things unfold. Like he has options because of his knowledge of the legal system, that there are options that he has, and he's kind of waiting to see how some things shake down to see how he should move.
Okay. Well, I hope those options include leaning on his son a little bit more to assist, and also outside legal counsel, because that's basically what's going to help him get the justice he's seeking and that he thinks he deserves. So, but oh well. All right. Well, that's cool. I don't have to go back and re-listen to the first 40 minutes then. This whole thing down in Delta State, in Mississippi. Initially when I heard Delta State, I thought Delta State was actually an HBCU, but it's not. They got a couple other there, Mississippi Valley, and I think Tougaloo over there in Mississippi or something like that. But I saw an interview with the young man's, with the family lawyer for the young man. Mm-hmm. And the attorney was talking about, I'm getting more information from the media than I am getting from the police chief and the school and the coroner, which is just crazy. But it's Nina Simone made a song back in 1963 after Medgar Evers got shot called Mississippi Goddamn. And this seems like another one of those Mississippi moments that is just so irritating and frustrating, because and I agree totally with you. If you find me hanging from a tree, I didn't do it. Right. No way, no how would I even consider doing something like that. And man, I just hope that they don't wind up, cremating that young man without the lawyers being able to get the independent autopsy to check the condition of the body and everything. Right. So it's a shame. It is a shame. I can only imagine you sending your 17, 18, 19-year-old son off and you get a report that first he's missing, not that he was found hung in a tree, and that, ain't no foul play. You ain't done a complete investigation, but ain't no foul play. That is just weird and strange for them to even say something like that definitively, unless there is a potential cover-up. But, oh man.
Yeah, it's wild. I mean, and we can hear about Charlie Kirk forever, but I think this is kind of a big story.
Yeah, it is, and it should get more play on mainstream media, but we see with the whole consolidation of media and media companies, all for seeking buying up, getting laws changed so they can buy up even more local stations, they are bending the knee and putting pressure. What it seems like what happened with Jimmy Kimmel, saying that no, we're not going to show Jimmy Kimmel on our stations because of the comments that he made. And from what I'm seeing, that's what led to him getting, I guess, suspended, and ultimately he'll be terminated, because they know that Trump and his administration, everyone in his administration, is lockstep with him. And if they want those laws changed in order they can buy up more stations than that they really should be, because if they are allowed to buy up stations, I think they'll be in 80%. Stations owned by one company will have 80% of those stations. Will reach 80% of the people households in the United States. That's what I was trying to say.
But you know what?
Right.
I hear people talking about, the Trump administration, they're putting pressure on these people, and these people want to do that. These people who own these stations, who own these companies, this is probably what they wanted to do the whole time. And this is just the excuse for them now to be able to do it. Like, some of this is just my gut feeling. The majority of this is just my gut feeling. But a lot of these, big time CEOs who own these broadcast companies who, don't work with a whole lot of, we keep hearing about how black actors can't get jobs and, black directors can't get jobs. And these are the people who won't say nothing about that. If you own the entertainment company, you can be the one to say, no, we're going to do this right. We're going to be diverse. Yeah. But if you don't do that, that's just not something that you value. And people who don't value diversity, I tend to think a lot of times they just racist people. They don't want to see black people. Like, they literally don't want to see you. That's why they don't put you on TV. That's why they don't cast you in shows and movies and all that kind of stuff. They don't want to see you. They don't want to be around you. And more than likely, they agree with the Trumps of the world. So then Trump come out and say, hey, do this, hey, do that. They be like, hey, we had to do it. Otherwise, we was going to suffer some consequences. But it was what they wanted to do anyway. Now they got cover to do what they always wanted to do.
Well, that's why Republicans really aren't speaking out against Donald Trump to begin with, because everything that he is doing is what they've been trying to do for the last 50 years, but have been unsuccessful. Even all those who, they always, when, Barack Obama and even Joe Biden was in office, they was like, oh, well, we keep our Constitution on us and everything. And now they just light and flame to the Constitution. They don't care, just as long as they have power and able to grift like they've been grifting. And even J.D. Vance owns a lot of stock, or what, I'm not sure if it's a privately owned company. He owns part of it's a private equity group that literally goes around and buys up bankrupt farmland. And one state they're busy in? Arkansas. So this is, it's a shame that it just appears to be all a big grift, to where they're trying to turn this back into feudal times, where you have people just worked in the land and, but the white folks, and one thing they still have, they have that social construct of whiteness. They can always say, well, at least we're not black.
Yep.
Or at least we're not Mexican. And that is their, what is it called? The wages of whiteness. I'm getting the wrong person. No, W.B. Du Bois talked about it. The wages of whiteness. They don't have anything to their name, but oh well, at least I'm white, which is a crying shame. But yeah. Oh, have you seen any of the, on the same thing, have you seen any of the preachers, black preachers specifically, deal with this whole Charlie Kirk death and everything?
No, I saw a clip or two and, read but I've just been so busy. So no is the answer. I haven't.
Yeah, and some of the notable ones you probably know, like McKissick down in down in Jacksonville. Oh, what's his name down there at New Birth in Atlanta? Jamal Bryant.
I know him.
He had a good one. But there's a pastor, Church of God in Christ pastor in Raleigh, where I used to live, who called Charlie Kirk a tremendous man of God. And I'm like, what? What defines him, or what makes him a tremendous man of God when he's not living any of the tenets of Jesus? Definitely not talking about Jesus. And everything is all hate and denigration. And it's not about coming together, opening up, bringing people in. It's talking about essentially just destroying them. And it seems like all for money. You have your seated beliefs and you can make money off of it. Hey, that's even better. That's like, gravy on top of everything, which is sad. And it seems like his wife is going to pick up his mantle.
Of course.
And continue on.
She got to keep making that money. All she really got to do now to make money is be angry, be racist, say she loved God and or Jesus, and there you go.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's even, well, no, I'm not going to. Well, I was listening to Joy Reid, and she said she heard the story, so I'm hearing this third-hand information. But take it what it's worth, that some of these white churches, the pastor won't even talk about Jesus because they think Jesus is woke, which is just crazy. Or they think he's too soft. And I unfortunately, I think if Jesus was here in his, the way he's portrayed in the Bible and came here today, they would be still calling for Barabbas. Because no, we don't want you watching out for the kids. Keep those Epstein files hidden because it may implicate our personal Lord and Savior Donald Trump. Or what do you mean you want us to take care of the immigrant when they are here? Or the whole deal with the parable of the oh goodness, the Good Samaritan. Oh hell no! They would walk by him and come back, make sure there are no robbers there, and take the stuff that the robbers didn't take, which is, sad to even have to say something like that. But they are Christian nationalists, no different than the Klan, which is sad that they haven't progressed in their thinking, or the word hasn't penetrated their heart the way it should have. So, I'll just pray for them to, for their stony heart to be removed and replaced with a clean heart. But I'm a realist, so we'll see what happens there. But last two things. Are you going to be able to print up those T-shirts for me so I can go to North Carolina tomorrow?
What T-shirts?
The T with the Battlestar Galactica Federation of the World.
Hold on. I heard somebody. That was on Lincoln's show, right? And somebody was talking about the something galactic, something or another.
Yes. It's called the Galactic. I was just messing with the name, but it's called the Galactic Federation of Worlds. And there are a group of people who claim to have direct contact with aliens and that they are supposed to visit somewhere in North Carolina tomorrow, Saturday, and Sunday. So, forget about keeping your eyes on Jerusalem. You need to keep your eyes on North Carolina. And I had never heard of it before, but then, you go down that rabbit hole on TikTok and on YouTube, and it's like, oh man, there's a lot of white folks who believe this stuff, and there's black folks who believe it too. So I don't know. It's just far-fetched out there.
Why do they always choose September? Remember last year, it's going to happen. It was in September. Yes. It's going to happen. Mm-hmm. Something going to happen. Yep. And, of course, not happen. But why do they choose September?
I don't know.
Mess with my month. Got me looking for aliens and shit.
I have have no idea. But yeah, that is some. Well, we'll see what happens. I got friends that are over there, so I done already got a hold of all of them and say, hey, be on the lookout. You know, if ET comes by, hey, give me a call. If you see a xenomorph or one of them predators, run, run. Don't even wait around for them. So yeah. But the last thing, and I apologize to all the people who have been wanting the wrestling report from me, but it's time for a very brief and abbreviated wrestling report. Did you see the return of CM Punk's wife, AJ Lee?
I did.
What were your thoughts on it overall?
I'll be honest. I'm a little underwhelmed.
Mm-hmm.
I kind of can appreciate the storyline and all of that kind of stuff, but it feel to me like she just kind of going through the motions. It's like, okay, they paying me, and it's almost like she wants to do a character change, but she's got to go through a transition period to do a character change. It's underwhelming, but it's a decent story.
Yeah. What she still has that crazy look, which is just, yeah. Well, I don't know if it's an act or she really is crazy. I don't know, but she plays that crazy role very well, and consider it's been 15 years or however long she's been on TV. She looks the same, which is I was surprised. But
Yeah.
I guess good eating, good living to do that for you. But yeah, I haven't watched much wrestling. It's been difficult because my 19-year-old son isn't here, and he's the one that normally makes me watch the wrestling, and I fall asleep and I wake up and ask him what happened. So I don't have all the ins and outs of it. So my apologies, LaDonna and Miss Janice. I apologize. But that's all I got.
All right. Well, Brent, enjoy the rest of your evening.
All right, you too.
All right. All right, that was Brent. With a wrestling report. Neither one of us apparently have been watching much wrestling. I see a little bit of it here and there. Yeah, that was Twin with the prophecy. Terry said it was September 20. It was September 25th. The happening. And nothing happened. Let me see. And Jen is saying she didn't get an alert. Again, I don't do the alerts. That's a Facebook thing. I don't send them out or anything. I just come on and they send out the alerts. Janice says, I told you years ago that the First and Second Amendments without certain restrictions would be the destruction of our country. Trump was left unfettered for too long. Now he wants to take our First Amendment rights away. I don't disagree with that. You're saying it like I disagree with you. I don't ever remember saying, no, you're wrong about that. I don't ever remember saying that. Yeah, man, these are the same people who didn't like cancel culture 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? These are the same people who did not like cancel culture. And now they're saying, if you hear somebody say something negative about Donald Trump, call their boss and get them fired. If you hear somebody say something negative about Charlie Kirk, call their boss and get them fired. But we don't like cancel culture. We all know they don't care about cancel culture unless it's them being canceled. Now, when they get caught up doing something bad and they get so-called canceled, cancel culture is bad. But when they can catch you and get you fired for not agreeing with what they say, cancel culture is good. Let's see. Jerica says, can we exercise cancel culture on the afternoon experiment? Who do we want to cancel? Who do we want to cancel on the afternoon experiment? I will say this. I turned on the Lincoln Ware show today. I think I might have caught about 15 minutes of it. And there were people threatening to murder people in the chat. And I thought, that's extreme. Like, why are people threatening? Why are people comfortable threatening to murder people out in public? And comfortable doing it on a open, recorded, like there's a record of it. Why would you be doing that? I don't know if people know this. And I'm telling y'all this, just, this is my service for the day. It is illegal to threaten to murder people. That's not legal. You can't do that. Daryl said, wow, who was it? I don't want to say nobody's name. I just know I was not going over their house for dinner. You know what I'm saying? A dinner and a little murder. I'm not going to say nobody's name. Yes, it was today. When I got on, I was like, what happened? Like, sometimes I feel like we got to do better, with some of this stuff. Sometimes I feel like we got to do a little bit better. And the idea that you somehow soft if you don't want to be murdered. That don't make you soft. Not wanting to be murdered does not make you soft. Heck, not wanting to get in street brawls don't make you soft. I really think certain parts of the culture need help. We gotta shift some mindsets. Nat says, and we know what happened with Kabaka Aba. Right. That's what I'm saying. You can't be out here. We watch this play, some of us watch this play out in real life. Ronald say, twin ain't gonna step on an ant. It's not even about if you're gonna follow through. Well, I mean, it kind of is about that. But on some level, it's not even about if you're gonna follow through. It's about, at least in my mind, a part of it is about, why is that considered okay? And people who do it really feel like they doing something. Like I'm somebody. Because I don't know. I was like, what is going on? And y'all know, sometimes I think about stuff in this way. If I am just an innocent, and some of y'all like, it don't matter what they think. But if I'm just an innocent Caucasian person minding my own business, and I'm like, I like that Lincoln Ware guy. I remember when he was a good in and he was a Republican. Let me go see what he's talking about. And you go to his chat and you see black people threatening to kill each other because they didn't like, I don't know what happened. But I didn't like what this person said. I didn't like this person saying my name. I would look at some of y'all like, that man's crazy. And then people defend it. I don't know. I'm ever so slightly different. I'm ever so slightly different. Linda says, can't be that serious to talk about using weapons. Yes, they were talking about weapons and they were talking about murdering people. Sierra says she want to cancel podcast snitching and talk show tattletale. I don't know what that means. Ronald says, what happened, y'all? I don't know. Again, I be in class, and every once in a while we get a break, and I log on. Usually I be on there, to tell jokes. Maybe not so much tell jokes, but, pick with Lincoln a little bit. Get him a little mad. Really, my goal when I do that is I want him to slip up and read one of my comments. Because I know he's really actively trying to ignore me. And so I just be wanting him to read one. And then I'd be like, got him. That's what all that's about. And of course, I got these little pet peeves and people say stuff and, I don't like that. So I have to correct people every once in a while or just repeat what you said because it was so foolish. And then y'all know how people do. They say something foolish, and then you say what they said back, and then they get mad because they realize that it sounds stupid. It didn't sound stupid when it came out, but it sounds stupid when they hear it back. But that's really it. That's all I do. And every once in a while, I get threatened on there too. I'll be like, why are you threatening me? Of all people, me? Daryl said that dude, Etsu, is good at threatening folks on these podcast chats. Like, I'm going to meet up with him to fight over some chat back and forth. What I look like in my 50s with bad knees going to meet with somebody to fight. Now, if you come to my door, I'm just going to let my side piece, Nina Jones, handle it. I'm not about wasting my 50-year-old energy and no unnecessary brawl. Right. I'm 50-something years old. I'm not meeting you to fight. But for a lot of people, that's a mentality. Like, you said something I didn't like, so we gonna fight. All right, we gonna fight. What is that going? I still don't understand what it's supposed to solve. Ken says, Emanuel, Family Feud. I don't know what you're talking about. Terry Coleman says, E-Man definitely throw his shade. Can I be honest? Some of the stuff I say, that seem like it's directed at Lincoln and he take personal really don't be directed at Lincoln. It'd be directed at the company's lack of care about that station, because that station could be so much better. Even just the Lincoln Ware show could be so much better if he had the appropriate resources and people to make it, to make him make it better. Because he can't, probably. He can do better. He needs somebody there to push it, because he won't do better on his own. Like, you ever met somebody and you like, hey, this is person got all the potential in the world, but on their own, they ain't never gonna achieve nothing because they, too lazy, either physically or mentally or whatever. And you like, but if the right person can motivate them to do, oh man, the sky's the limit. That's kind of what it is. Like, somebody had to be like, stop. I'm not even gonna say that. But somebody just had to be like, no, be better. Be better. Here are the resources to do it. If you don't know exactly how to do it, like you might have forgot because it's been so long since you did it, here is how to do it. And now go execute. Like you said, why is his live stream orange? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's so not a hard thing to fix. It's so not a hard thing to fix. There are people who know how, but you don't want to give them the resources to get a camera that don't change white balance every time the picture behind him changes. That's really what's happening. The white balance is changing with the pictures behind him. So every time the picture changes, the white balance changes. And then he be orange, a little more orange. Then one shot is decent. But then it'd be orange again because it's a different picture. That's not a his fault thing. That's a resources thing. Or if the camera will do right, have somebody come in there and fix it. All you got to do is care enough to fix it. That's it. Just care enough to fix it. And I'm not saying Lincoln care enough to fix it. Who set up that? Trust me, Lincoln did not set up that live stream system. Who set it up? Who got the camera and hooked it up? You don't know how to white balance, or get a camera that don't change white balance every time the picture behind him changes. You just have to care enough. But if you just like, here, stick a camera there, all right, do whatever y'all do, I don't care about y'all, and walk out the room, then it's orange and oranger and orangerer. And then you like, I don't care. So I really do be trying to motivate them to be better, because they can be better. And to some degree, it's a reflection to some people on us. I hear a lot of us say stuff like, y'all know it's a remote tomorrow. Is that remote gonna be, or is it gonna be, y'all got the resources to make it great. Do y'all care enough to make it great? Do y'all care? Are the mics gonna be distorted? Is some person that y'all want to ignore gonna have to send in messages about turn the mic down because it's distorting, and then turn the volume up back. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all don't know how to do that. And you're gonna ignore it, but do it. Why should that have to happen? Jeffrey says can be better. Howie, man, after what, 20 plus years, no one noticed that, but someone like you who technically savvy, they have technically savvy people there. All they got to do is care enough to, like, for real, think about this. Y'all know where was he during, I think it was downtown during Black Family Reunion, and he was doing that live broadcast, and that mic was so distorted that the broadcast wasn't even listenable, if that's a word. You couldn't even really listen to it. It was so bad. All he needed to do was turn the mic down. But think about this. Let's say people at the, in management and who can make a difference just took 10 seconds to turn it on and see how it was going. All it would have took was one person to care enough about the station to turn it on and say, oh, he's broadcasting live somewhere. Let's see how that sounds. Clicker. Like, oh, that sounds horrible. We need to fix that. Nobody cared enough about the station to even take 10 seconds out to listen to the quality of the broadcast. That ain't his fault. So that's some of that stuff I say, even though I know it gets on his nerves, for real be about, like, bro, go tell them you need help. Ronald Dixon, thought about go get your job back. No, I'm good. But I don't want to see him be that. Mary says, just test it. I don't think it's always that simple. It's not always that simple. I mean, it is, but it's not, because there is some human error involved. Like, you should see the level going into the red and be like, oh, yeah, that's a little too loud. But, okay, that's enough of that. Linda says Lincoln's back is to that board. He doesn't see it. His back is not to the board. I don't know what you think the setup looked like, but it's not true. His back is not to the board. And especially when he's out on a remote, he's the one turning stuff up and down. Nat said, why don't they hire an intern? They can't do that. They have a policy against hiring interns. I think it's Diddy's fault. But they have a company-wide, they used to have interns. But company-wide, they have unless they've changed. My information is like 3 years old or close to 4 years old or whatever. So unless they've changed, they have a company-wide policy against hiring interns. Ronald said he don't listen to Terrence. Okay. Pamela says, what gets me is the station logo banner still has the FM station listed. There's a lot of little stuff that, again, if somebody just cared a little bit, like I mentioned this, I think last time I was on one of my rants. If you ever go to TuneIn Radio to listen to the station, I believe the last hour of the Lincoln Ware show is still listed on TuneIn Radio as the afternoon experience with Emanuel Livingston. And so I'm going to assume the first 2 hours of Al Sharpton is still listed as the afternoon experience with Emanuel Livingston. That ain't nothing but, I want to say, that's probably just an email. It's been almost 4 years. In February, it'll be 4 years. Why is that show still listed? Because there's nobody that cares enough to, for real, that is one of the things that I used to do. I used to look at the website and be like, no, that's wrong. Change that. No, tune in, that's wrong. Fix that. That sounds horrible. No, we're not going on air sounding like that. That looks terrible. We're not going on the air looking like that. That was one of the things that I used to do. That promo is outdated. We're not running that. It just takes somebody that care a little bit. And again, I'm not talking about Lincoln. Believe it or not, that's not his job. They should have, even though we all saw when they got rid of Raven, they got rid of a whole lot of their staff, 10% or something like that. And they didn't even really have anybody working there anymore. They had whittled a lot of those people down, through, they fired, I wasn't the only person who got fired for not taking that vaccine. I just got fired late for not taking the vaccine. They fired a lot of people company-wide for not taking that vaccine. I mean, a lot, and didn't replace them with anyone. So they already had they were severely understaffed. And then you get rid of 10%. And when you already understaffed, Nat says, yep, I'm on TuneIn sometimes, and I do see the afternoon experience. Right. It shouldn't be the case. All somebody got to do is say, you know what? What do we look like to the public? Let's go look. We broadcast on TuneIn Radio. Let's see what that looks like. The afternoon experience. Why is that there? Jeffrey, I try to be a little literate every once in a while. Jeffrey say, damn, man, you read my texts correctly as written, punctuation and all. You a bad man, sir. I try to be a little literate every once in a while. Just a little. Just a little. I'm sorry. Daryl said, how is it Diddy's fault? I don't know exactly what happened, but there was a time, this was years ago. There was a time when we had interns, and then out of nowhere, Radio 1 decided no more interns. And everybody was like, why? And apparently something happened at Bad Boy Records at some point, and I don't know if an intern sued or something happened, and somebody in Radio 1 said, look, they got in trouble for this. We don't want to get in trouble for that. So we gonna stop doing interns completely because somebody at Bad Boy Records did something bad to an intern, and we don't want to fall into that trap. So that was the explanation that was given to me by some higher ups. Something bad happened to an intern at Bad Boy Records. And so Radio 1 decided no more interns. Now, whether or not that's 100% true, I can't tell you. I can just tell you that a higher up at Radio 1 told me that. And I know we stopped having interns. Yes, Vernon Jordan, though, vaccine mandates were a huge mistake. They were stupid. They were stupid. Somebody said radio is in trouble. Oh, radio been in trouble. Radio been in trouble. Let me see. Ken says, Emanuel, I think you get a slight kick out of the company's discrepancies. I do. I'm going to be honest about it. I do get a little bit of a kick out of it because, they fired me. And I did my best to see to it that stuff like that didn't happen. So when I see certain stuff, I'll say slip through the cracks. I'm like, that wouldn't have happened if I was there, and I'll be, that wouldn't have been the case if I was there. Lincoln wouldn't have one of them little girl selfie lights, this little circle thing. His lighting would not be a teenage girl selfie light. Ronald says, could you answer my question about you and Ivy? What was your question? I didn't see a question. Can you put the question in again? Because I'm kind of looking back as I'm talking, and I don't see a question. Oh, hold on. Is this... Wait, no. I think you, Emanuel, and Nate Livingston could have a show actually with a very constructive and very informational opinions and different sides of the black spectrum within our community. If that makes any sense, respectfully, y'all two grown men, I would like to see that happen. Terrence on the boards and the sister sprinkled in there somewhere on and popping. I don't see a question, and that was not about Nathan Ivy. Also, I wish you and Nathan Ivy could get together and settle your differences and come back to the black neighborhood so we can discuss what's going on the two different spectrums, because I see growth and I see separation, if you feel. There is no... Look, I keep telling y'all, I don't know how many other ways to say this. I don't know what our differences are. I don't know what our differences are. I mean, our differences is a lack of communication, and from my perspective, a lack of being willing to kiss somebody's ass. That's it. When Jerry Tolliver and they did a whole wave of firings because they were switching our format. For whatever reason, they thought that I either knew about it in advance or had something to do with it, which was not the case. And instead of anybody ever asking me, hey, well, Jerry did ask. She did not believe the answer. But instead of somebody saying, hey, did you know this was going to happen in advance? And if so, why didn't you give people a heads up? Nobody did that. Everybody just assumed that I knew. And so people was mad at me, and I didn't even know they were mad at me. And so, yeah, for real, in all honesty, somebody believes something about you that's not true. And because of that, they hate you. You've let them know that's not true. They don't believe you. What can you do? There is no, hey, y'all need to get together and have a conversation. My portion of the conversation is, I didn't know. There's no other conversation for me to have. Well, I'm mad at you because I think you did, but I didn't. Yeah, but I think you did, but I didn't. But I think you did, but I didn't. Well, I'm still mad at you. That was a great conversation. That would be the whole conversation. Because again, I ain't really mad at nobody. Caller?
Hey, my fault for calling you back, but man, you know, God said don't discount your resources. And Mary said, what could she do? Just mention it in the chat. You ain't got to call. You ain't got to call or anything, but just mention it in the chat so that nobody forgets about it, because everybody be in that chat, even if you don't know that they're there or not. And I appreciate you, Mary, for asking. Okay. Oh, that was it.
All right.
All right. Thanks, man.
All right. All right. That was his answer. Lamont says, at one point in time, Emmanuel had all the women on the planet wanted to whoop his ass. That's true. That is terribly true. Oh, yeah, I remember those days. Those was good days. Oh, them was good days. They'll say, when I was listening to Nathan Ivey, he would tell us that it was your fault, E-Man, that he got fired. And I believed it until I got to listening to your show on the buzz. Yeah, I don't know where, I still to this day, no one has ever explained to me in any rational sense how I could have gotten a whole radio station fired. Like, what did I do to get a whole radio station fired? How? How could I have possibly made that decision? And then, if I did, why didn't I benefit from it? Why didn't I benefit from it, right? Like, I got everybody fired. And I stayed in the same position and made the same amount of money, but was given more responsibilities. That was a pretty messed up deal for me. If that would have been the case, what would I have gotten out of that? But they done convinced themselves, for real, they convinced themselves that I knew stuff that I didn't know. And so, again, there's nothing you can do about that except for let people believe what they believe. And you just, when it's brought up or when I feel like talking about it, then I bring it up and I talk about it and I tell the truth. I tell the 100% truth. Let me see. Tracy Ellis Ross was the leader of the pack. Oh, she was the leader of the pack. Oh, she came in, they was already fired up, and apparently she decided they ain't fired up enough. Oh. Yeah, I don't know. I think about that from time to time. It's not something I think about on a regular basis, but from time to time, I think about that and I just laugh. That was fun. I really enjoyed that day, that event. I thoroughly enjoy that. Ron says, I believe they're gonna ask you or Nathan Ivey to take over for Lincoln when he's gone. I think it all depends on who's there, on who's running the station. I know when people think I'm crazy for this. I was actually, somebody straight cussed me out for this. I mean, cussed me clean out, called me a fool, all of that kind of stuff. Like, because when I left, I had a little show. And what y'all gonna do for the show? And of course I suggested, give Raven the show. And they said, Raven's not ready. I said, I think she's ready. She would be new, so just like anybody new, she's not going to be 100% polished on day one because she's new. But I think she's ready. And they said, no, she's not ready. I said, well, I tell you who else you could give a shot. Nathan Ivey. I said, he's a good talk show host. He is a good talk show host. And then, that way that somebody can be in that spot. He's known in the talk community, the black talk community here. So people would tune in to listen to him. And they was like, are you serious? And I was like, yeah. And they were like, that'll never happen. I was like, why? And they were like, never. Anything else? You got anything else? I was like, but why not? And they were like, never. Next topic. So if those people who had that mentality were still there, and again, I don't really even know who's there now. But if those same people are there, it ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. They don't want me back because I say stuff like this. And I'm sure they hear about stuff like this, like he telling people that we don't care about the station and blah, blah, blah. Ain't no way we bringing him back on. So me out of the question. Plus, they're not going to pay the kind of money that it would take to get me back. And if the same people there, it's out of the question. It's 100% out of the question. Thank you, Daryl. I'm behind. He say I'm cool, and I'm the only local podcast that he kind of listens to. He must have threatened a female worker there, too. I don't think so. Black Lion say Raven wasn't ready. She was a horrible replacement for you, although she was better than Nathan Ivey. I don't think she was a horrible replacement, and I genuinely still think the guy's a good talk show. I'm just an honest dude who you can hate me, but if you good, you good. I think I'm gonna just leave it at that. I was gonna go into another area, but yeah, no. I think the hosts have more freedom on Facebook podcasts. Callers can cuss for 20 minutes without commercials. Can't do that on the radio. They got plenty of freedom on the radio. They can do good stuff. Brenda says she enjoyed Nathan Ivey's podcast. I listen to a variety of podcasts. There's nothing personal from me. I just like the different views. No shame in his game. Or in her game. I'm sorry, Brenda. Said no shame in her game. And I ain't never told nobody to not listen to anybody. I ain't never tried to convince you to not listen to anybody. I don't hold it against you if you listen to people. None of that kind of stuff. Because again, I ain't got nothing against these people. So, Shannon says, minimum, how much to get you back? I don't have a solid number right now because it's not even something I'm thinking about, but it would definitely be into the six figures. Emanuel, who do you think the guest host of Lincoln's show will be? You know, I kind of don't want to say because I have an idea. And then what's the dude from the Inquirer? He be on I've heard that he be on with Nathan Ivey. What's that dude's name? Kevin? Is it Kevin? Him. I'm pretty sure that that's who it would be. And more than likely, if Lincoln left, that's probably who they would reach out to see if he could find it in his schedule to do the show. Or they would have to, pony up some money because they don't want to pay no money. And there's a really good chance that he ain't going to do it for $10 an hour. Or, I think Raymond said they got a raise, so $12 an hour. Whatever it is that they make it. He not going to do 3 hours a day for $12 an hour and, waste his week. Jerica says, I got blocked because of E-Man. I don't know if you got blocked because of me. I don't know if you got blocked because of me. I don't feel that I'm gonna take responsibility for that. I didn't do nothing. I just exist. You got blocked because I exist. Oh, that's crazy. That's crazy. Brendan said Raven was growing better each show. I really wish I could have given her a show while I was there. And this is going to sound kind of self-centered of me. But I wish I could have given her a show while I was there and kind of mentored her. Because, again, she was new to the whole talk thing. She was new. And I would have loved to be able to have her do a show and me air check it and me say, here is what you're doing that's good. Here is what you're doing that could use some work. And work with her. Again, not because I think she was bad, but because she was new. I really wish I could have done that. Anonymous.
No, this ain't no anonymous. This is Edzo the Emperor.
So why do I have you in here as anonymous? Because every time I put you in as Fame, you come up as Twin, which I don't understand. There's some flaw in this system. But Edzo, what's on your mind?
Oh, no, I love Miss Brenda. I've always had love for her, but she just made the comment that just chapped my ass. Like, are you crazy? Talking about Raven.
I thought Raven did a good job.
Talentless hack.
You got mad because you said something about her, probably mean, and she responded, which is, in my mind, an appropriate response when somebody just decides that they're going to be mean to you just for the sake of being mean. You mammy. I don't have a problem with telling somebody whatever mean thing that they're trying to say to me to demean me, to attempt to get me to feel bad about my very existence. Whatever you saying about me, apply that to your mama. And that made you mad.
That's not. I didn't say anything mean to her.
Oh.
I just wasn't about to kiss her ass. Just, kind of told her, that her opinion was whack. And, she's very thin-skinned. She doesn't have the breadth of knowledge, of life experience to talk the shit she talked. Trust me, the buzz did that girl a service, because there's an old saying in radio and television: your career hasn't started until you get fired. What did she do from there? They did her a favor. Trust me, and her opinions were very petulant, very pedestrian, and really perfunctory in many aspects.
Well, but if I'm honest, Edsel, when I started on the radio with the Bad Boys, people said stuff that hurt my feelings. And I reacted. It does take, to have people. I don't know if you might understand it, but number one, you're putting yourself in a vulnerable position to put yourself, in this case, on the radio and express your opinions. Even though they're thought out, to express your opinions. You're in a vulnerable position, and then for people to attack you for that, it feels initially like it's personal, like I'm sharing a part of me and you're attacking the part of me that I'm sharing with you. And it does take a minute to get used to that and not take it personal and not respond in that way.
She's been there about 5 years by now, man.
What?
She's been there 4 or 5 years by now. She had been there. At this point, it was time to grow up. And then you disagree with her. You can't have a thoughtful opinion of disagreeing with her. It's always, you just don't like black women. It's like, grow up, little girl.
Well,
like you're not ready to be in this chair.
Well,
you're not ready.
You don't be saying like anti-black women stuff sometimes.
I am. I'm anti-bullshit. I'm anti-hearing some dumb shit. And nobody says more dumb shit than them. Case in point, the person we're talking about.
I don't agree with you. Well, sometimes, sometimes we all say some dumb stuff.
Well, she had 2 hours of it. Often. Whether it was on Saturday or filling in for Lincoln. It was just too much. It was just, it's just, no, young lady. You need to be on, Straight Talk Live with Edna talking that dumb shit.
You're in the wrong station. Edna. What Edna do to you?
Edna ain't do nothing, but wasn't that the jingle? Talking straight with Edna. Straight talk.
I don't remember the jingle.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But no, that was all I had got. I was in and out of the show. I said, always glad that you could spend some time with us. We need you more often. Kevin Aldridge, he and I, we won an intramural basketball tournament. It was several Inquirer employees. We won that at Mount Auburn. You know what I'm saying? This is fact.
Wait, so you and Kevin Aldridge played some Cincinnati Inquirer employees and won, and you're bragging about that? Was it women?
No.
You sure?
No. We were a team of Inquirer employees that won in a basketball tournament. A season-long basketball tournament at some gym up in Mount Auburn.
Did y'all play teams with women on them?
No, it was all males.
Okay.
I'm telling you, I can get busy. You got to remember that, like I say, I was hell when I was well. You know what I'm saying? When I was a younger man, I was getting busy, dunking on. You know what I'm saying? I was nice like that, very athletic. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And so I would love to see him in the air chair if they're able to. But I don't think that would be a good fit because he as he's getting older, he's leaning more conservative, and that's just not what the Buzz or what that particular station wants to hear out of its main anchor. They want to hear struggle and things like that. They want you to be a professional. To be completely
honest with you, I genuinely believe that some of the people who ran the station would have loved to hear a much more conservative Buzz.
Nah, I think they want you to be a professional Negro.
No, I don't think so. I'm telling
you,
I don't agree with you. I was there. I think they would have loved to hear a much more conservative buzz, because then that way they could have felt like we can go out and sell it, but they did not. In just my opinion, they never felt like they could sell the buzz because it was too black.
Yeah. Well, no. See, that's what I'm saying. They could. I always think they could sell it just because of that, because it was actually an anomaly in the Cincinnati radio market.
But sell it to who?
I don't know. Somebody who got the kind of money to buy it. I wouldn't be a buyer, but I'm just
Well,
saying.
no. When I'm saying sell it, I don't mean sell the station. I mean sell advertising time on the station.
Oh. Well, I mean,
if it was a bunch of black conservatives, they could be raking in the money, or at least up until Trump. They could have been raking in the money, and I think a number of them felt like, man, I wish this was black conservatives if they got to be black. But I'm not going out here to sell these people talking about black power and black pride and black excellence. That don't make money.
I think there is an audience for that, because somebody that we know got a $500,000 contract from the city for that. But hey, it is what it is. That's all. I hear that name and people saying that this person was actually prodigious, and I just think that's the biggest crock of shit. Like this was a trash individual with a no talent hack. I'm sorry, but hey, it's always a pleasure. Like I said, we need you here more often. And but until then, just know that there's a wolf on your ass. And I'm.
I appreciate your call. Oh, I'm glad he didn't finish that. Oh. Let me see. I disagree with a lot of what you guys are saying with regard to Ms. Mundy. And I really think she could have grown the audience. I think some of y'all be mean, though. Y'all be mean. I think. And I'm not even necessarily saying y'all listening right now, even though I'm sure some of y'all listening right now participated. Y'all be mean. Like, people used to attack the heck out of me on the air. Now, I just got to a point, this was well before I actually ever got a show or started filling in for Lincoln. I just got to the point where I didn't care. Somewhere in them bad boy years, I came to the conclusion, bro, say what you say. Even people who agree with you gonna hate on you. Just say what you say and let them hate. But, man, I remember I used to fill in for Lincoln, and the phone would ring as soon as my voice would come on. I ain't said really nothing yet. I'm just welcoming people, and people calling in, and, the board operator, would tell me, like, so-and-so just called in, and she said you a little bee, and she don't want them to F you, and blah-blah-blah, and she turning her radio off, and she hope you die. And I'll be like, damn. Just because I'm filling in? I ain't even said nothing yet. Y'all be mean. Y'all focus on the stuff that y'all know that happens. Y'all don't see and hear the stuff that don't get on the air. And when we had text messaging, oh my God, the stuff people used to text me. If I wasn't comfortable with who I am, oh my goodness. You talking about y'all gonna pick apart anything physically that y'all don't. It's radio. Can't nobody see you physically. People knew I was short and fat. And if I was sensitive about being short and fat, oh my goodness, I might have just, took myself out Those people, man, they didn't even know how short or how fat I was. They just heard I was short and fat, and people would text all manner of horrible things. People, y'all be mean as hell to the people on air. Now, I'm guilty of some of that. I'm guilty of some of that. I know Lincoln kind of sensitive about his jowls. You know what I'm saying? But when he be eating, then them jowls just be bouncing around. I be like, don't be eating on the air with them jowls, you know? So I'm guilty of some of that. But yeah, y'all be mean. And you're like, oh, so-and-so just said this. Well, you don't know that same person who, you know, y'all like, oh, she was mad all the time and she was this and she was that. You don't know that same person done called 12 times before they actually got put on hold and said all manner of horrible stuff to her. So then once they come on the air, she already know where this is going. Yeah, her defenses is up because I know she about to or he about to attack me. I already know what's coming. They done called and told the call screener, I ain't S and I'm this and I'm that and I ain't this and that, you know. But y'all don't hear that part. Y'all just hear so-and-so, you're on air. And then the confrontation. But y'all ain't heard the kind of precursor, the preamble to the confrontation. So that's why I feel like I can sit here and say, I think she did a good job. Because especially y'all, the Lincoln people, Lincoln fans are Lincoln fans. And they don't like you, not because of anything you said or did, but they don't like you because you ain't Lincoln. I turned on my radio at 10 o'clock in the morning to hear Lincoln, and I hear this light-skinned Asian motherfucker. And you know what I'm saying? You like, whoa, relax. He ain't even finished saying hello. Why y'all got this light-skinned wannabe Asian mother effer on here with his nasty ass? He looked like a this and you like, he ain't said nothing yet. You just mad because he ain't Lincoln. I'm telling y'all that's real. And it'd be the same people. It'd be, 10 or 12 people who would literally make 5 or 6 calls throughout the day on the same show just to belittle and berate and degrade the host on the air. Now, a lot of times me as the technical producer, call screener, producer, and all that stuff, I'm not going to share that information with you. I'm not going to tell you somebody just called and said you's a no good, Asian-looking, bald-headed, cockeyed, da-da-da. Not that I'm saying Terrence is any of that. But, that somebody just berated you, bro. Let me tell you everything they said to make him now insecure. But sometimes the person don't have to tell you. You can tell. Cause y'all be going bonkers when I would pick up the phone and y'all in attack mode, and now I'm defending the fact that he is here and he just exists. He can kind of see and hear what I'm saying. So he get the gist of it. Somebody is mad because he exists today. And then y'all want him to go on and be all, hey, this is Terrence, hey, this is Raven, and when they know 10 people just called and verbally assaulted the shit out of them. And why she mad? So that's what I'm saying. Y'all don't see that side of it. But trust me, some of y'all are mean and nasty as hell. Boy, I'm so behind. I am so behind. Are there any Radio 1 shows conservative? Well, Ken's show was conservative, if you want to call it that. Al Beasley had a show; it was conservative. I mean, there were conservatives back in the day. Now, no. They can't sell it because of no, they can't sell it because people don't. A lot of companies and agencies don't buy black media. They won't advertise with black media. They just won't do it. When y'all see Byron Allen suing McDonald's, which I think that whole suit is over, but when y'all see stuff like that, Byron ain't making that stuff up. They won't buy black media. You got to give it to them, unless, you know what I'm saying, it's some black media they will buy. And I'm going to just leave it at that because I don't want to say nothing bad about some of the media that they would buy. But some of the media that they would buy is bad. Rent-A-Center, stuff like that, they'll buy black media because they want to prey, in my opinion, they want to prey on the community. So, yeah, you can buy a $395 TV for $5,375 after all your payments. I will advertise that to you all day. But other companies just will not buy black media. It just is. Diane says, I never hear anything positive about anyone from him. I'm not sure who you're talking about. I'm really behind. Will says, businesses here didn't and don't value black consumers. The sales team also didn't sell the station because they didn't see the value in it. That is so true. That is so true. And when I had a show, they refused to sell my show. Ask me how I know. Let me tell you how I know. I heard it with my own ears. I was in my little cubicle. They didn't know I was in my cubicle. And I heard a call come in. I only hear one side of the conversation. It went a little something like this. This, of course, is not verbatim because I don't remember verbatim. But it went a little something like this. You want to buy the afternoon experience? Are you sure you want to buy commercials on the afternoon experience? What if I sell you some time on the Lincoln Ware show and we'll give you a few spots in the afternoon experience? No? Well, I don't think you really want to buy the afternoon experience. What if I put together something and send it to you? Okay, let me just put something together and send it to you. That was an actual salesperson saying that. And I'm sitting listening. Somebody wants to advertise on my show because they valued my show. And the salesperson was telling them, don't advertise on his show. Advertise on this show. And a lot of times what would happen is, even on Lincoln's show, they would call in and say they want to advertise on the Buzz, and they would say, don't you want to advertise on the Wiz, and we'll give you the Buzz for free. That's an honest story. I'm telling you, I heard it with my own ears. And when I heard that, I knew they don't value me. It's an honest story. I could tell you who the salesperson was. So there's a lot of stuff that go on behind the scenes. And then you know what I had to do? I still had to go on the air and do a show with people attacking me. Now, y'all know me. I was always professional and courteous and All of that kind of stuff. But I'm just saying, y'all don't always know what goes on behind the scenes. So so-and-so was mad. It was always mad. Might have always been reasons to be mad. Will says, and we had to let them on air when they would complain to corporate. Yes. Yeah. And that was the weirdest thing to me. Because trust me, when I'm telling you, I used to call 700. And if they didn't want to let you on, they didn't let you on. And you could sit there and hold that phone for 4 hours, and that show would just go on like you wasn't there. And if you call and complain, they gonna tell you they take the calls that they want to take. But you call there, I don't know about now, but you call there and complain, somebody gonna come in and tell me, put this person on the air. What? When they call in, put them on. Gotta put them on the air. Like they got a right to it. It's like, no. Now, you know, me, I never minded taking anybody's call. I take your call. I don't care. I'm not intimidated by you. I ain't scared of you. I ain't mesmerized by you. None of that. But there were certain times when certain people shouldn't have gone on the air, but they called and complained and got on. And they even, you know what I'm saying, they making their intention known that they, you know, they got to get on. It's true. Jeff says, much as I love Ware, I have to agree with you about Ware eating on air. Daryl says, damn, they're brutal. Bro, I'm telling you, you have no idea. And I'm not even just talking about like that dude that leaves Lincoln weird in voice messages. I'm sure he still do. I'm not even talking about that. Like that, I don't care. I'm talking about live and in real time. LaDonna said, wow, Terrence is a nice guy. Trust me, when you hear Terrence on the air, and Terrence is talking about, oh, because y'all don't like me and all of that kind of stuff, it's a little bit of, is it sarcasm? Is that the word I'm looking for? Maybe facetiousness. Sometimes I get confused with the two. There's a little bit of that in there. But trust me, enough people have called him and told him to his ear, they probably didn't say it to his face, told him to his ear, you suck. We don't like you. We don't like the way you do the show. We don't like the way you look. We don't like the way you act. We don't like the way you talk. We don't like, you know, they've spelled out all of the stuff that they don't like about him in great detail and with great passion and vitriol. So there's a part of him while he's sitting there, he's saying it kind of, because, you know, you say it to kind of dig at the person like, oh, you don't like me, but I'm still here. You don't like me, but I'm still here. Yeah, I know y'all don't like me, but I'm still here. But at the same time, you really are acknowledging they don't like me. And I only know this because they literally tell me. So when you hear Terrence on there, and I haven't talked to Terrence about this at all. I just know how it worked. I haven't talked to Terrence about this, not even one time. But I can almost guarantee you people call in and attack that young man. Well, he ain't that young no more. People call in and attack that man because he ain't Lincoln. I can almost guarantee it. Daryl say he couldn't work in radio because he know his temper. They got you cussing, E-Man. Did I cuss? I'm not sure that I cussed. Ronald said, F them, hang up. Yeah, and then they call and complain. And because we didn't have managers or corporate who would say, hey, he don't have to take your call. She don't have to take your call. This don't have to, you know what I'm saying? Who are you to call in and complain? They hung up on you, you know. You probably did something wrong, but you don't have a right to be on the air. Maybe try again. Maybe try to be nicer. They wouldn't do that. They would automatically take the side of the person, not knowing what happened, and then come down, either come down to the studio or have a meeting, and now you wrong because you hung up on somebody who was being mean, rude, and unnecessarily nasty to you. And they don't even want to hear it. I'm telling y'all, that's the truth. Nat says Roland Martin talks about it all the time. I think you talk about the black companies that won't advertise. I mean, the companies don't advertise with black media. It's true. It's true. Janice says that's why people must be very thick-skinned when going into anything that has to do with interactions with the public. No, David, I will not name the salesperson. He know who he is. Let's see. Emanuel, that's probably one reason why Terrence Howard don't go to any other functions. Possibly. Janice says, just imagine being a politician or a public figure. Oh, yeah. I'm sure they hear it all the time, just unnecessarily. Was one of the callers named Jim. Believe it or not, yeah, Jimmy said a lot of mean stuff. But I never really cared about all of the mean stuff that people said. I'm going to tell you what got me over. Hold on, let me catch up with the comments, and then I'll share this story, and then I'll go. That's some Jim Crow radio management. They put on whoever they want on the white talk shows. All right. And you can tell when he needs to water. It's funny. You sound like Bernie Mac. I ain't scared. You have to adopt that mentality. You really do. Diane says, Terrence seems a little shy. I think he is a little shy. I wish he wasn't, though. I like Terrence. I think Terrence is a really smart guy. Like, Terrence is really smart. I think he's hilarious. Yeah, his humor skews a little the sexual side sometimes. But if you just, don't take it because he not being serious, it really kind of is locker room humor sometimes. But he really is. He is very smart. He is very funny. He's a hardworking guy. I like Terrence. I don't have anything negative. Not that I can think of. I don't have anything negative to say about Terrence. Nothing. So, yeah, I like him too. How y'all get on Raven and the Buzz? I do think the show is much better with the real guy. It's different. I think it's different because I don't even know that I want to go into that either. It's different because just say it. Lincoln don't see Terrence as a threat. If Lincoln saw Terrence as a threat, he would have a problem with Terrence. And you 87 years old. Why you worried about somebody being a threat to take your job? 87 years old. If he think you want that job, he don't like you. He don't like you. And for whatever reason, I think he thought maybe Raven wanted that. I know he thought I wanted the job, but I never wanted the job. But he definitely thought so. That's why he tried to get me fired, because he genuinely thought I wanted the job. If he really thought Terrence wanted that job, he would have a problem working with Terrence too. Trust me. If you don't believe nothing else I say, believe that. I don't know what happened to the school that Omar and Tyreek Nasheed said they was going to build. Will said Jimmy would get pissed if he couldn't get on the air. Yes, he would. Yes, he would. I was once accused. I'm not even going to go into that. LaDonna said, I remember he called Raven a heifer. Okay. I knew he said something to her, and she said your mammy. I didn't know what it was. I knew she said something to him, and he said your mammy. Terrence gave an hour to Pharaoh because he thought no one would call. It was torture. It was torture. Oh, I listened to some of that. Ronald says, so they really take Twins call down the dial. Oh my goodness. We need a band. We need to ban his silly butt. Did he call down the dial? Did he? I don't know. I'm asking. Is Lincoln really 87 and still worried about somebody taking his job? Nobody wants your job. Y'all still here? We still here. I had a story that I was going to tell, but I don't remember what the story was. Sorry, y'all. I forgot the story. Genesis, I do believe Terrence underrates himself. If he let his intelligence surface and become more comfortable with his abilities, he could be a formidable contender. But he does not want to do that. Terrence loves being over there on the music side. Terrence loves music, loves old school music. So Terrence don't want to be a talk show host. Terrence want to be, or at least my perception, Terrence want to be over there on 100.3 playing old school music, being a DJ on the radio station. He loves that. He don't want to be a talk show host. And that's known, and therefore there's no threat there. This ain't what he want to do. It's clear what he actually wants to do. He's no threat to me. So I can be very comfortable with him, and whatever he says, I know it's friendly. It ain't intended to make me look bad. So he got mad. I don't know if y'all remember, we used to, if I don't tell the story, I'll forget it. Like I forgot whatever the other story was I was going to tell. I remember we used to do the Reds opening day parade, which again, it was never my desire to do. I never said, oh, I want to do the opening day parade with Lincoln. That was Jerry saying, no, you down there. I was just supposed to be down there to run the broadcast. And then it was like, no, you down there. You going to get on the air with Lincoln. Because, I believe she enjoyed our chemistry. So you going to get on there with Lincoln and, y'all going to bounce off of each other. It'll be fun, And I had, so I had gone down there one of those years. I went down there and I had a wireless microphone. Because, some people don't know, I sing. And I sing in a band here and there. And, I like the freedom of movement, even though I never move. But I like to have the ability to walk around if I want to. So I bought myself a wireless microphone. And, you going down and do the opening day parade, so I take my wireless microphone. Number one, it's a good microphone. It sounds great. And number two, if I wanted to, in this environment, I could get up and, walk around and, maybe talk to people. That was my thinking. If need be, I can get up and walk around and talk to people. Or I could even hand, because from time to time Lincoln would, hey, there's so-and-so, and they would come over and get on the mic. I can hand them this wireless mic, and then they ain't snatching wires all over the place. That was my thinking. I bring the wireless microphone to the Cincinnati Reds opening day parade broadcast. Lincoln did not see this. I have no reason to announce I'm bringing a wireless microphone, So I set up, boom, boom, boom. We all set up. We all ready to go. Y'all know this dude had the biggest hissy fit in the world because I had a wireless microphone. And I remember him saying these words. You trying to make me look bad. How am I trying to make you look bad? You got a wireless microphone and I don't, and it's going to make me look bad. How is me having a wireless microphone going to make you look bad, number one? But even if you believe it's going to make you look bad, you really genuinely believe my intention was, hey, I'm going to go in tomorrow and I'm going to take a wireless microphone to the parade and then everybody going to look at Lincoln and think he ain't shit. That's what you was thinking. Did you think if you got a wireless and then they see me and I don't have a... It was a whole ordeal. Because I had a wireless microphone and he didn't. And somehow in his mind, that's going to make him, that's me trying to make him look bad so I can take his job. What can you do with that? What can you do with that? I promise y'all that conversation happened. I promise y'all that conversation happened. It was much more in-depth and much more heated. And I was actually asked, can you just not use the wireless microphone? It's a wireless microphone. Well, why don't you let him use the wireless microphone? Because they always cater to him. Why don't you let him use the wireless microphone? No, he's not putting his lips on my microphone. No. It's a microphone. He need to get over it. He's on the phone with management because I got a wireless microphone. And they trying to convince me to give it to him. And then you know me. What, so I can look bad? Well, no, nobody's saying you're going to look bad. I don't think I'm going to look bad if I don't have a wireless microphone. I just wanted to say it out loud so y'all hear the ridiculousness of it. It's ridiculous. I used the wireless microphone that day. Will talking about it, he went back and told Jerry. Will, you know he went back and told Jerry. You know he went back and told Jerry. He called her from the remote, and then she called me to ask me to let him use the wireless microphone. You know that happened. I didn't even have to finish the story. I know that you knew that happened when I started telling the story. DeAndre said you wouldn't let him use your lights. No, I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't. And I keep that. I don't. I know I told y'all this story, but the truth of the matter is, all of that stuff, the lights and the audio equipment and all of that stuff, initially was bought to enhance his show. Yes, bought with my money to enhance his show, even though he thought, whatever he thought. And every time I would do something to enhance his show, he would accuse me of trying to sabotage his show. And I remember warning him time and time and time again. And if Terrence was around, Terrence could tell you with 100% certainty I'm not lying. I remember telling him over and over, Lincoln, it's beginning to get on my nerves that you keep accusing me of trying to sabotage your show. It's getting on my nerves. You better stop it, or I'm not going to do nothing to help your show. And it might stop for 2 days. And then on the third day, it rolls again. You trying to sabotage my show. And I remember saying to him one day, Lincoln, this is the last time I'm ever going to accept you accusing me of trying to sabotage your show. If you say that one more time, I will never help do anything to enhance your show that is outside of the scope of my job. He let it rest for probably about 2 days, but then on the third day, it rose again. I think I was testing out a system, because I don't know if y'all remember when he used to do his live streams, the audio was just the camera audio. And I was trying to figure out, because, Radio One didn't want to spend no money to do it right. So I was trying to figure out a workaround to get it right. And I had figured out the workaround, and I came in and I, set it up and it was working. But then, because I couldn't leave my equipment there. But then I had taken some equipment home and brought it back the next day. But I think I had forgot a cable or something like that. And as a matter of fact, I was talking to the engineer, and he had told me, I don't have the cable, but you can go make one. And so I was on my way to the little workshop to make the cable, solder it and all of that stuff. But before I had an opportunity, because I didn't have that cable and it was coming up on time for his show. See, you trying to sabotage my show. I said, that's it. That's it. I told you one more time. No, ain't no, my ass. It's over. I ain't helping you no more. I actually did end up making the cable. Actually, I still got the cable upstairs that I made. But yeah, no, from that point, it wasn't no helping. Nope. So that's why when I brought the lights in, nope, you can't use my lights. Because I'm sabotaging your show. Again, that's another 100% true story. And if you ever ask Terrence about it, he can verify. If he will verify. He can verify it. Don't tell me I'm trying to sabotage your show when all I'm trying to do is help and enhance your show. Yeah, I got irritated. Will said, yeah, I remember. Yeah, Will used to work down at the radio station. He had a lot of positions. I think Will came in as did you come in as an intern, Will? Or I thought you came in as an intern, member of the street team. If I'm incorrect, please correct me. I think Will came in as a member of the street team. I remember working and training Will on the board on the bus. But I think he came in as a member of the street team, and then he learned to work the boards and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, I remember I wasn't the only one who trained him, but I remember training him to run the board, and he worked for the buzz. Well, worked for the buzz. He worked on the buzz sometime, after that. I don't know if he ever worked on The Wiz, but then eventually he worked for promotions. And then, now Will just doing big things. Like, well, I don't want to tell all your business, and I don't know exactly what your position was down there. But Will was like, almost like the head of the Underground Railroad Freedom Center at one point. Will says, I literally joined on the street team, worked free for a year, and Jerry hired me as a board op. And then he went on, like I said, to become, and I think at one point you were over the promotions department, right? So you went and you worked for them. I don't know if you worked for the Wiz, but I know you went and you worked for promotions. Were you ever the promotions director? I thought you were the promotions director at some point. And then next thing I know, he running the Underground Railroad Freedom Center. And I'm not even sure what he's doing now, but I'm certain it's big time. Pamela says, do you have to go to media school to work the boards? No, you just need me to teach you. I'm laughing, but it's true. Will you tell them I was pretty good at training people? I was pretty daggone good at training people. Like, in my mind, but Chad, I trained Chad. I know I trained Will. Terrence, I know I trained Terrence. Nella, I know I trained Nella. Just trying to, in my mind, and all of the people that I can't even think of. Oh, shoot. I can't remember. It's one young lady in particular who I can't remember who she is. I don't know why I want to remember her, but no, but I trained a lot of people. I had this mindset. If you come in here and you sit with me, Ebony J, I trained Ebony J how to run the board. If you come in here and you sit with me, she wasn't who I was trying to remember. If you come in here and you sit with me, you're not just gonna sit here, you're gonna learn. And by the time, was it 2 weeks? Did they send y'all with me for 2 weeks, Will? By the time your 2 weeks is up with me, you're gonna be able to do this. You're going to be able to do this, just period. You're going to be able to do this here. You're going to be able to go over to the Wiz, which was like, the big show. You're going to be able to go over to the Wiz and run the board. You're going to be able to go over here and run the board. You're going to know stuff about radio. You're going to learn some stuff over here on this side, because I'm going to make sure you do. You're going to learn it. You're going to do it. And you're going to be able to take it. And if you want to, put some other skills with it and become successful over there. Kristen, trained Kristen. I don't think I ever trained Nikita. They wouldn't let me train Nikita. Oh, there's a funny joke in there that Will gets and the rest of y'all don't. Yes, I definitely trained Raven. I did not train Lincoln. No, I wasn't there when Claudia was there. Why would you even put Nikita up there? Why, Will? Why would you even put her name in the chat? You know good damn well I did not train Nikita. Oh. You. Oh. Okay. Stephon Speed said, that's what I missed about media bridges. Mary says, you learn stuff by experience. Yeah. 'Cause I'm going to show you some stuff, and then you're going to do it, and you're going to mess up. And it's going to be cool. Because sometimes people mess up. And then you're going to get comfortable because you messing up because you're scared. You're nervous. You don't want to mess up. But then you're going to get comfortable. And then it's going to be fluid, and you're not even going to have to think about it when you do it. You're just going to do it. All within the span of, a few days, a couple weeks. You're going to be good. That was just the way I saw it. That was the way. You send them to me, they learning something. And I'm very happy and very proud of some of them people that went off and they have like successful careers in radio. Really successful careers in radio. And I be looking at them like, you took the little bit of information that I gave you and you built on it, and that's what it's all about. Yeah, I got to get ready to get out of here. It's almost 9 o'clock. Ron says Raven. Yes, I taught Raven. I trained Raven on the boards. Yes. By the way, Will, how is Nikita? How is she? Ronald says it's called hands on. Exactly. It's called hands on. So what's your next plans? Owning your own broadcast network? No, I have no desire to. I had no desire to be in broadcasting anyway. I don't know that I tell y'all how I got my job. I told this story before. I can make this one real quick. I was working at a meat packing plant, and I was going to school for audio video production. And I got fired from the meatpacking plant for being late. But I had just graduated from the audio video program. And they were starting this new radio station. It had started. Hold on a second. You said spoke to her not too long ago. She's good. Lives out of town now. Well, good for her. I'm glad she's good. And maybe even glad she lives out of town because, she was doing big things too. I think at one point, like, she ran the SPCA. You can't beat that. So I had graduated, got fired. This radio station was started. I wasn't thinking about no radio. I went to get my degree in audio and video production, my little associate's degree. Because I was like, you know what? I'm going to write some songs, and then I'm going to record and mix and master my songs, and then I'm going to shoot the video, and I'm going to edit the video, and, But then my brother called me, Nate, and he was like, hey, they need some help up here. Think you can run this board? I was like, I don't know. I ain't never seen the board. I don't know what the board looked like. Would you come up here and look at it? And I came up and I looked at it. And I was like, that's it? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, yeah, I could do that. And then he talked to Lincoln. And Lincoln said, well, he could come in and kind of intern. And then I sat in the Buzz studio for a few days. And then one day, somebody didn't show up. Now, granted, it was me and I think 3 other dudes sitting there supposed to be learning the board. But nobody gave us any hands-on experience. It was just watch me, And so that guy he no call, no show. And the person who was there, Kim Zahn. Kim was like, I got to go. Like, I don't know if she had to pick up a kid or something like that, but she's like, my shift is over. I got to go. And Jerry Tolliver was like, okay, well, I need somebody to run the board. And those dudes who had been sitting there, like, apparently had been there for months. Like, sitting there at least weeks. Just, supposed to be, but I think it was months. Sitting there supposed to be learning. And I was like fourth in line. So when she said she needs somebody to run the board, I looked at them. They looked at me. And Jerry said, y'all been sitting here for how long? And y'all don't want to step up or whatever her wording was or whatever. And I looked at them and they looked at me. So I looked at Jerry and I said, I'll do it. And she was like, okay, well, go do it. And I did it. And then talked to that later that day. I think it was later that day or at the end of that week. I can't remember. I went and talked to Lincoln. Lincoln was the program director at the time. And she told Lincoln basically to hire me. Yes, she told Lincoln to hire me. And Lincoln, okay. And he hired me. That's how I got the job. Nate said they needed somebody to run the board. I showed up. I watched a couple days. Somebody didn't show up. I did it. And they hired me. That's it. That's the whole story. See, told you I could do that one quick. Yeah, you got on through Nate Livingston. Exactly. And people used to try to shame me about that. Y'all know that. That's why I be telling you, the people who call in and they be mean. You only got your job because of your brother. And I used to be like, I'm supposed to be ashamed of that? You ever heard of Fredericks and Sons? Somebody built a whole business and they son only got a job because of their daddy. People sharing information, it's called networking for some people, but for some people it's who you know. And then I got there and I did a good job. But yeah, people really used to try to shame me. Because my brother told me that they was hiring and said that he thought that I could do it. Call that radio station. Oh, y'all don't know how nasty them people can be. You ain't asked. The only reason you got a job is because of your brother. If it wasn't for your brother, your broke ass would be out on the street. You fat motherfucker. You'd be like, really? just cuz. Just because. DeAndre says nepotism. But I don't think technically that's nepotism because he didn't hire me. Is it nepotism if you tell your brother there's a job available that I think that you have the skills for? Come and apply. I don't think that counts as nepotism. But if it do, oh well. Oh well. Janice says people who go into jobs that deal with the public should probably be trained by those who train people who participated in the nonviolent movement. They learn to endure most anything for a reason. People believe being nonviolent is normal. It's not. It's a tool, or it took 1 to 2 years to train those individuals to be nonviolent. No one is born nonviolent. Well, yeah, I kind of think I agree with that. That's all right. I don't mind your mistakes. It's good to know that you're not perfect. So when you correct me, I can just think back to your mistakes. And I feel better. Yeah, I got to get out of here. I think Mrs. Livingston, she not home yet, but she on her way. Y'all enjoy the rest of your evening. Go do something. Well, no, go do something. It's almost 9 o'clock. Get your old ass in the bed. Enjoy your sleep. And then, well, some of y'all married. For those of you who are married, be the reason that he or she smiles tonight. All right? Till next time. I'm out, y'all. Peace.